This is on here. Okay.
For launch. GC. Go. Guidance. Go. Fido. Go. Prop. Go. GNC. Go. Max. Go. Eagle. Go. Ecom.
Go pending final steps. The cabin link check.
2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Rift Nation Network, the RNN. Putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you could need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Can't hear you. Are you muted? Sorry, guys. Hang on. We're sorting out technical difficulties. Well, now you've moved.
Does that work?
There we go. There you
we
are.
go. I
Phew.
had to put it on AirPods.
Ah.
Yeah. This is the first time I've done it from my phone. So this is what you call a work in
Really
progress.
clear, though. Like,
Yeah.
and you sound good.
I mean, I paid enough for these AirPods to better be clear. Oh my God.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
guys, I am on location here at
He's
Great
on a-
Wolf Lodge.
So he's in an undisclosed location. full of
Yes, I'm
fun.
in the car outside of Great Wolf Lodge. We came down here. Actually, we came down here on Sunday, and we were planning on leaving Tuesday, but they slipped a little notice under our door. It said, if you want, you can stay an extra night for $79. So
Well,
we're
then
like,
why not stay?
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, well, I can figure out how to do this on my phone.
You're doing well.
And here we are. Of course, we do know it's a very special holiday today.
It
and a lot of
is.
people are celebrating it. Yes, it is National 3D Day. And I don't know about you, but I love things in 3D. I'm a
Me
big 3D
too.
fan.
Yep.
Um, of course, if people see wearing 3D shirts everywhere, and kiss me, I love 3D. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Did you wear Did you wear green today?
I did wear green today. I have green on now. You just can't see it. It's on.
So did I. I got some kind of green, but I wore a green shirt that said "Lucky" on it
Of course, I wore
today.
green today and never left the house. So I wouldn't
Oh,
have
well,
been
shoot.
affected had I not, but I have work phone calls and stuff, so I figured I would be festive.
I don't think people pinch each other like they used to back in the day. I mean, it
I don't know.
was.
My friend's daughter was like, I'm not wearing green. And if somebody pinches me, I'm going to knock them out.
I mean, I think people. Honestly, I think people are scared to pinch people now because you don't know what kind of stuff they're going to do to you. If they're going to sue
Yeah,
you or take you to
true.
court. But back in the day, that was a serious concern
Yeah,
on St. Patrick's Day. You better wear green or you're going to get pinched.
you're going to get pinched.
Yeah, I mean, the world was more fun back then when you could pinch people without
Well,
being
when
thought
you
of a
think about
sexual
it, when we
assault
were
or
in
something like
school,
that.
like half my battle scars came from my closest friends. Like
Yeah,
frogging me in the arm or frogging me on the leg or punch buggy or we were beating the heck out of each other.
yeah, back when you could beat someone with love, you know,
Exactly.
Indian burns and
Yeah.
fun stuff, man. Getting
Yep.
noogies.
Yep.
Now it's just
Yep.
like, oh, don't. You got to be careful with people now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Oh man, so yeah, today was it's being at a water park. Even I didn't even do anything all day. We got a cabana
Okay.
and we just kind of sat there, and RJ ran around and made friends and stuff. But our hotel room is like a mile from the pool area, so there's a lot of walking up and down steps to go to dinner and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
It's wears you out. I'm like,
Yeah.
so why am I so tired? I didn't even really do anything today, but
Well,
you know,
sometimes too, when I don't do anything, I feel tired because I didn't do anything.
that's true. Yeah, I'll do that thing. Sometimes I'll be so tired, I'll be so sleepy that I can't sleep. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's what's going on with me. What's going on with? Oh, how was your investigation?
Oh,
That's
it
what I
was
want to ask you
so
about.
good. It was so good. We had Friday night was a little bit smaller group than the group we had Saturday night. We had Saturday night at least 30 people, if not more. But it was really good. It was a really active weekend. I
That's
think
good.
everybody got really good results. We got a lot of really cool EVPs. Saw lots of shadow figures, people like spirits messing with doorknobs. Doorknobs I've never heard them mess with before. Um, just, I mean, I won't say it was off the chain, but it was kind of nonstop of like
Hey,
little things
Kevin.
happening. I actually, um, Rodney with Crop was there, and one of our sessions we were running an EVP and I happened to hear something out of like audibly. And when we were done, I said, I heard someone with a real like strangled voice say, hi. And he
Oh
said,
wow.
I did too. I did too. And I was like, okay. And so what we hadn't finished because that ended up on the EVP, but you hear it ended up coming through on the EVP. So you hear that sound and then you hear me say, I just heard that. I just heard a sound that sounded like this, and I mimic exactly how it sounded.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was so good. It was such a good weekend.
Man, I'm so glad you guys had.
Exhausting, but so much fun.
Well, it definitely helps when you have a exciting or an active weekend
Yeah,
to
yeah.
help get the energy going.
Yeah, it
Because
was
if it's
active enough
slow,
that
it's
we
like,
could
oh my
play
god.
off things that we got
Yeah.
Friday night. We could play off those things on Saturday to see what we got. We got enough evidence to say, okay, well, let's revisit this or the other. And we did some table tipping, right?
Yeah.
So we decided after we did table tipping to run an EVP about table tipping, right? To say, um, whose table is this, and were you worried we would, wreck your table and all of these things? So, on the EVP, I was the first question. It's on our FPRI website, I mean Facebook page. You hear me ask the question, "Can I take this table home with me?" Then the next guest says, "Can I have this table if I give you $10?" And then a female voice comes through and says, "I don't need the money."
She probably doesn't. She's right about that.
And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So it was like it was a Class A EVP. So if you go to Fredericksburg Paranormal Research and Investigations on Facebook, my team's page, John did upload that recording there. So
I think I saw that. I've got a paranormal story from Great Wolf Lodge, if you can believe that.
oh, cool.
We were in the room. It was me, RJ, and our Angie, obviously. And RJ said something, and then you hear shh. And then RJ asked Angie if she just shushed him, and she said no. And I said, and I was like, I heard her say it. I'm like, are you did you really not shush him? Because I heard the shh. And she was like, no, I didn't say it. I didn't do that. So I definitely heard the shh, and so did RJ. So I don't know. Maybe she
Very
did it
cool.
without realizing it, but uh we definitely heard it.
That's cool. That's
So that was
cool.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I'd
Just
have the guts on vacation or anything like that to run EVPs or anything in my hotel room.
well, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't break out the EV try to do investigate Great Wolf Lodge or whatever.
No, nope.
But being in Williamsburg, I mean, it's probably it could have been built on top of maybe built on top of a graveyard or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I wouldn't do that. Plus, there's so many people around. Oh shit. Oh, oh, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose. I want to like lose battery power. My car die, and we have to like get a jump to get out of here. Oh, it's turned. I just had to open the door. It's cold out here.
It's
I would
cold
do
here
it
too.
inside, but I don't wanna bother them too much.
Yeah.
So tonight we are going to talk. My friend Luann Joly. She
Yeah.
has we've she's been around. We've had her on the show a few
Okay.
times. Um, we started back when it was just Holly and I doing the show, and then she came on, and she's a lot of fun. So before we do that, though, I think we need to do the cards first. I
Let
forgot
me
about
pull a
that.
card. Let me pull a
I was
card and see.
jumping the gun. I
Let
apologize.
me pull a card. Let me pull a card. I tell you what, my sinuses and allergies are starting to kick in though. As cold as it is, today
Hmm.
I had a headache, and then a little bit early, I just kind of had like a little sneezing fit. I was like, "Oh, here we go.
I had
Here we go."
some drainage
Yeah.
going on this
All
morning.
right. Ooh, I don't think we've gotten this one before. Let me look at it. This one says, "Free yourself from perfectionism." What a pretty card.
I like
That's
it.
awesome.
And nobody's perfect, so don't go for that.
No, and I think I was what some we had a thing today at work. They do these little lunch and learn kind of things, and it's somebody who just does a presentation, and it's on Zoom or whatever. So it was one on burnout, like how to determine if you're starting to deal with burnout, and how to kind of remedy that. That's kind of funny that came up, and they said that one of the main things that causes people to have burnout is the perfectionism that a lot of us have, where we have to do everything everybody wants us to do it, and it has to be at 101%. And sometimes, I think that the best way to not burn yourself out on anything is to accept that 80, 90% is okay. You can make a changes and adapt as you need to. And I think we put so much stress on ourselves to be perfect and be all things to ourselves and our families and our work. And, um, honestly, if you think about it, being perfect is no fun at all.
No, it's not.
So, life is much more fun if you just allow it to be a little wonky and a little off kilter at times. So maybe this week, let's not focus on so much on everything having to be perfect.
All right, hang on. Well, shoot. I tried
Ray
starting
can't
the
decide
car.
how he likes himself
I,
adjusted.
I mean, yeah, I was like, well, I'll start the car and turn the heat on because it's actually kind of cold out here. But then the sound goes through my car. I'm like, I don't think I can't deal with this shit right
Ain't
now.
nobody's gonna care. If they walk by, they might later be like,
Well,
"Who are you talking about? That's pretty awesome."
they're probably hanging around, gathered around, listening to the cool stories. But I couldn't figure out, like, I wanted to figure out how to put my car speaker on a restream, or like so he can hear me. Because I have it on
Oh,
AirPods right now. I had to actually put AirPod on the restream. Um, it's
oh.
very technical. I'm actually surprised I figured it out. To be honest with you, I
Honestly,
was.
you sound really good, so it's a good thing. I mean, your AirPods are good.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started the song, like my first I play a song. When we first start the show, I couldn't hear the song. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. But once I started the videos, I actually could hear it. So,
Oh, that's kind of cool.
uh,
That's good to know if you have to do it
yeah,
from a car.
yeah, it's a lot easier to do it on a computer, which is the exact
Yeah.
opposite of what we deal with on Thursdays. So this is our computer
Yeah.
show, and Thursdays is
Yeah.
our phone show. So,
Yeah.
anywho, Luann Joly, super excited to have her back on. She's a paranormal investigator. She did some, I guess she does some work with the Lizzie Borden House. Um, so I know she has some awesome stories to share with us. Let's bring her on.
Yeah. Bring
Hopefully she
her
gets
on.
on. Here we go. Maybe. Nope. Here we go. Come
It's
on.
there
Come
for a second.
on. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Welcome.
Hello? I don't know why my camera is not working.
I don't know either. Hang on. Let me push a button here. Let me see if I can fit it on my phone.
We can hear you
Is it?
fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Is your camera on?
It should be. The little light's on for the camera. And I
Is there anything you
tried
can do on your end?
fixing the.
Let me
Oh,
look.
don't do
Hmm.
that.
If there's anything I can. No. What is it? Customize? No. Oh, there's nothing it seems I
Maybe
can
I should
hit.
try my phone.
You could.
Well, I mean, it works for me apparently.
Let's see if that works.
Ryan, you're the right person for that because I would be so freaking out. Like, I could not be calm under that pressure of figuring it out.
I mean, it helps to
That
be.
perfectionism in myself, I would be freaking out.
It helps to be tired too.
Yeah.
I was
Maybe.
freaking out before, to be honest, when I couldn't figure out if anything was happening. Let me see if I can get like
Yeah, there's nothing I can hit.
welcome there. Yeah.
Yeah, the only setting it has is video settings, and I've got it on the camera. I don't know why it's not working.
Hide camera,
Waiting for.
keep audio, camera. I'll do that. All right. And all it does is says HP. I can't read what the rest of it. This says what kind of camera you have.
Now it's waiting for access, waiting for permissions on the.
Oh, you probably have to say it's allowed. Is there something popping up saying it's allowed to use your camera?
No, it's. I just told it could access it.
Well, I can hear
Yeah.
you just fine.
Having issues. Let's see what happens. Studio.
What kind of service, like, are you using Chrome or Safari, or what are you?
Says copy and paste this link into your browser.
Yeah, you're going to need to use
That's
a
what I had to
Chrome
do.
browser.
They made me use Safari.
Oh, what do I? Oh, I don't have a computer. Oh, darn it. Do I have Google Chrome on this? Chrome.
I think that might be it. But you said you're using Safari, Ryan?
Well, I had to use Safari on my phone. but I'm on
Um,
Apple phones. Maybe that's why.
let's see if
Maybe.
I
On the
can.
computer, I think it is. I think it is. It is Chrome.
It's Chrome on a computer, yeah. Yeah, Teresa. It's Restream has all kinds of rules.
That seem to always come up while we're in the middle of the show. Gotta figure out what's going on.
All right. While she is poking around, let's see. I'll go through and say hi to everybody. Hello, Teresa and Aria and Misty Renstra, Renee Cody, Kevin, House, that girl, Emily Warner, hello, Michael Brooks, hello.
Michael
We're trying to
Brooks.
sort through some technical difficulties here. We're hoping to
This
get
is little
Luann on
behind the
camera. I guess
scenes.
if we can't, we'll just chat.
Behind the scenes action for you guys. This is how the magic happens.
We like to keep you guessing.
Yes,
Luann, the lady of mystery.
Oh,
exactly.
I like it. And I even did my
Perfect.
hair.
Oh man, are you
Oh,
in,
wait,
are you
we
in your
have to get
pajamas?
you on then.
Oh, I think that's dash ERR. Copying the link into my phone.
That's what I had to do to get this thing started. I will say I missed the warm weather.
What?
So I missed the warm
Somebody write
weather.
that down. Somebody in the chat, write that down.
Aha. Join
I
as
think
guest.
is
Okay.
that you? I do.
And it seems to be working. Wonder, join as guest.
Okay, Luann's joined us guest. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one off here. And add you. There we
There
go.
we go. Where'd
There
she
she
go?
went. There she
Where'd she
went.
go? She was there. There she
Yes,
is.
there we are. All right.
To hold my phone the whole time.
Well, yeah, I'm in the same boat with you right there. We're kind of in the
Yeah,
phone crew
that's
over
right.
here. Welcome back, Luann. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you guys. Let's see if I can lean it up against something.
That's what I do. I usually find a book or something to prop it up against.
I usually have a phone
Hey.
stand when I'm doing the TikTok show.
Yeah.
We got
See, I don't know how to. I can't. I don't know how to adjust the like camera positions on the phone. Like so it won't be so we're like so up close
You
to
got
our
half
faces.
Where can I click that?
There's a bunch of squares at the bottom
A bunch
of
squares.
like. There we go.
I don't see
There's
that.
a bunch. Look,
I see a
right
bunch of
below the
squares here.
cameras, like the squares, like so it look like the positions of our faces.
Let me see. No.
I mean, we just have to deal with it. It's fine.
Yeah, we might have to because I can't figure out where. I
It's
see something that's a
fine.
bunch. Oh, what did you just do? Did I do that?
Am I still there? Hello.
Hello,
No,
you're
I
still
did it.
there.
I did it.
You did it.
I hit.
I'm like, did I touch
I
something?
just randomly hit a button. Let me try this one. No, that's
Oh,
not.
Lord.
Oh shit! No, okay.
No.
I know you don't like that. All right, I think we're
we
good.
might have been better the way we were.
You like it? Well, let's see. All right, let's see here. There's this one.
There we go. There
There
we go. We
And where did Luann go?
Where'd she go?
What? She I guess she didn't like the position. Hopefully she comes back.
Okay,
'Cause,
she'll be back.
not mean to scare her away. So I'm excited to talk to Luann.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see.
There she is.
There she is.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I think maybe It was funny when we first started. We first started. Come on. Do you see her? Like, do you know how to add?
It's a black screen. Hold on. Yeah, if I add her, hold on. Maybe. But now she's gone.
I swear we know what we're doing here, Luann. We done this
No,
before.
yeah.
This is our first time. My first time for my phone, I guess. But
Okay. Hold up. Hold up. Let me add the stream.
Camera isn't working on my laptop. Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We've adjusted it. So if you want to go back
Well,
to your phone,
I
it won't
guess
be
maybe we got
so.
to go.
Okay.
It won't be so close to your face.
Well, I guess we go with no video.
I mean,
Yeah, let's go.
we're going old school tonight, guys. We're gonna go like when we first started talking to Luann. No video, just this her sultry voice tonight. Luann, the woman of mystery.
That's right.
That's
Um,
me.
let's we've been talking for a long time. I remember back in the day, you came on with Holly and I. That must have
Yeah,
been like
10
10 years
years
ago. Yeah,
at least.
that's crazy. Time flies. Could
Well,
for the people, I want to to kind of introduce you or more have you introduce yourself and talk about how you got into the paranormal and actually how you got involved with Lizzie Borden.
well, I'm Luann Joly. I'm the founder of Whaling City Ghosts. I do a lot of EVP work out in the field. Whaling City Ghosts has been in operation since 2004. So we just a couple of years ago celebrated our 20th anniversary. And it's funny because a lot of times I say that I was born into the paranormal, um, because I really can't remember ever not having something paranormal going on in my life, whether it was my past life memory was probably one of the first things that happened. After that, I started having precognitive dreams, which really freaked me out as, a young kid, 5, 6 years old, having things that I dreamed come true in the actual world. Um, and unfortunately, I was probably about 8 years old when entity that would attack me in the night. And it was really terrifying. I couldn't tell my parents. I was really afraid that if I told them about it, that they might lock me up in the loony bin or something. And back in the day when I was a young kid, Paul Dever, which was like an insane asylum, was still open, and I have memories of that place. Two of my sisters actually worked there during the time that it was open back in like the 70s. And I remember going there and it was horrifying. These poor children, some of them had mental incapacities, some of them, were in wheelchairs, quadriplegics, they couldn't move, couldn't speak. And the nurses and the staff would bring them out into the lawn and sit them there in their wheelchairs. And I mean, these poor kids sat there and there were fleas crawling all over them. It was horrifying to me, as a little kid. So, thinking that my parents might lock me up in a place like that if I told them about the attacks that were going on, I mean, I was petrified. So, I was actually an adult before I started speaking about the things that happened to me paranormally. And it was only because other people would come to my house. I was I was an adult at that point, had my own apartment, and I remember people telling me that they really didn't want to come to my house because strange things happened to them. Um, I was probably like between 18 and 20 when, people started telling me they were having experiences in my home. And that was when I realized, well, I guess I'm not crazy. These things are really happening. Because when it's just yourself, you rationalize. You say, I'm dreaming this, I'm imagining it, type of mental disorder, and these are hallucinations and delusions, and they're not actually happening. I do remember the very first time that I had contact with that particular entity. Um, Little things had started to happen. I would see things move sometimes. Other times things would whisper just my name. And what was weird about that was when I was younger, everyone called me Annie. That was my nickname. And those spirits, when they would whisper my name, called me Luann. And I remember, like, one of the times that I heard them, I knew I was in the house alone, and I just pew out the door and ran
Mm,
off because something was in the house calling my name. It was terrifying for a little girl. But the very first time I had contact, it was kind of weird because I do kind of believe that it could get into my mind when I was in a dream state, because I dreamed that a burglar had broken into our home and had killed my mother and father in their bed. And I wake up and I hear something coming up the stairs to my room. And I mean, it's like fight, flight. What do I
mm,
do? So I figured, well, I'll pretend I'm asleep. And as soon as I get the chance, I am bolting out that door and going out to the neighbors and having them call the police. So I'm pretending that I'm asleep, and it sat down on the bottom of my bed. And I remember kind of like opening my eyes just a tiny bit, and there was no one there. So at this point, I don't know what to do. I remember I jumped up out of my bed and I went, and I mean, I hit something. It was like I got clotheslined right in the throat. And then whatever it was that I couldn't see literally threw me back onto the bed. And then it got on top of me, and I'd try to scream, and it would push down on my chest, and like all the air would come out so that I couldn't even make a scream. And I fought and I kicked, and it felt like it was hours that this thing just held me down. And finally, I was so exhausted that I just could not fight anymore, and I laid there, and the weird thing is I kinda tend to call it a negative energy feeder entity, and it wanted my fear, it wanted that, it somehow got energy or something. And that was the first time it happened. It took a while for me to actually get to the point where I was so exhausted that I couldn't fight anymore, but that was when it finally kinda, like, released me. I remember I didn't even know what to do because it was like, I can't go downstairs and tell my parents, they're gonna tell me I'm nuts. But at that point, I knew that the dream couldn't be true, you know, I didn't go to sleep for the rest of that night.
that's
So that
scary.
was kind of the beginning of it, and I kept for many years, I kept denying that it was happening, even though sometimes, I got bruises, especially around my wrists because it would grab my wrists and put my hands, like, over my head, and, I'd look at these things, and I'd make sure I wore long sleeve shirt so that nobody could see these marks on me, but I didn't want to acknowledge them. I would ignore it and, wait for the bruises to go away, and, um, as a kid, every time I thought about it, I didn't wanna think about it. I would,
Mhm.
push it away and think of something else or go play, and, you know, um now when I look back, there was a point in my life, I had just had my first son, and out of the blue, I started having these seizures. Like, there were probably 3 or 4 occasions where I had seizures, so, I was seeing a doctor for it, but they couldn't find any physical reason. Now that I look back, we know a lot more about postpartum and how our hormones change, our whole
Mhm.
physiological, you know, body changes after we have a baby. So I think it was kind of more to do with that is the reason that I did have the seizures. But um, one of the doctors I was seeing sent me to the specialist that was out in Taunton, Mass at the time, and he brought me into his office, and he asked me these really strange questions that I never expected a doctor to ask me. He said, "Do you ever have deja vu where you think that you saw something before it happened?" And I was like, yeah." And then he asked me, "Do you ever have these experiences where you feel like something invisible is attacking you and you can't move?" And
Wow, it's right on
yeah,
the money right there.
Yeah.
um, and how he explained it was the deja vu, I didn't actually see it before it happened. Like, you walk into a room, you have a small seizure, and it takes your brain back a few seconds. And then click, click, your brain comes back to, the
Mhm.
present. And I'm like, okay. And he said, well, the thing that is happening to you at night isn't really an attack, that's sleep paralysis. And I was like,
Oh,
wow, I've got the answer. This was never anything attacking me. It's just sleep paralysis. And I never really saw those things before they happened. It was just a seizure.
Okay.
Then I'm driving home and I'm thinking about this particular vision that I had during my sleep. When I was about 8 years old, I had this vision, dream, whatever you want to call it. And then the next morning, I'm remembering this. And for some reason, I knew that the vision had something to do with my father, but the vision itself didn't really make sense. It was like this tan background and then this splotch of black dropping onto it and splattering. And I'm standing there waiting for the bus, and this voice came into my ear and said, "Your father is going to die before you turn 18 years old."
Oh, wow.
I remember the bus
wow.
was coming, and I've got tears running down my face because I was really close with my dad. Like, we were total buddies. I did everything with him. I helped him fix things. I shingled our roof. I painted our house. I built things and electronics, things like that. Um, and I'm driving home in my car, and then I'm remembering an accident that I saw before it happened. I actually lost the person that I was going to marry. He died saving my life. And I had seen that vision and it bothered me for weeks. I couldn't figure it out. And I was possessive of my boyfriend. I didn't want to hang out with our friends. I wanted him all to myself. I didn't understand why. But after we crashed that night, when I opened my eyes, what I had seen in the dream was right in front of me. Um, it was like the sparkly stuff with like water
Mm-hmm.
running down, and to my left, this big brown thing, and this kind of orange color. And I knew it was feminine. The sparkly stuff was the broken windshield with rain pouring down it. The big brown thing on my left was the telephone pole that went 2.5 feet into the car. And the orange thing was the color of the car because the door, well, the telephone pole hit the door. So the door was kind of wrapped around the telephone pole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking this on the way home, and I'm like, okay, I was like 8 years old when I dreamed about my father, and that thing told me he was going to die before I turned 18. That happened. My father died when I was 17. He died from cancer. And then, of course, the accident that drove me nuts. Um, it was right there in front of me after we crashed. But the weird thing, that black splash was at my dad's funeral. My sisters and I were all gathered around his coffin at his wake, and one of my sisters started crying, and her teardrop with mascara in it splashed onto his tan suit. That was the
Oh,
vision that I had seen. So, I had thought that this doctor gave me all the answers, but then I realized that he hadn't, because the other thing is when this thing would attack me, I wasn't immobilized. I wasn't paralyzed. I would kick and I would twist and I would try so hard to get away. I'd wiggle my head, and usually it had my arms, so I couldn't really move my arms too much. But if I did happen to get an arm loose, I would try punching this thing. I fought, and every time it attacked me, I fought back. I wasn't paralyzed. A lot of times they say when you do have sleep paralysis, you're usually laying on your back.
mm-hmm.
A
Yep.
lot of times I would be curled up on my side, and this thing would come and start stomping. I could actually see its feet stomping on the bottom of my bed, the little indentations. And then it would jump on top of me, throw me onto my back, get my arms, by the wrists, put them over my head so I couldn't punch, and basically would do this until I was so exhausted that I could not fight back. So, I do know one thing. I did try very hard to find a reasonable, explainable, scientific answer. And, here I am years later, and I still haven't found that answer. I mean, I started Whaling City Ghosts so I could get out in the field and either prove myself wrong or prove that there were things that exist in this world that we cannot explain reasonably
Have
unless
you
we have
um
no
have you
answer.
ever have you had anyone like go through the same thing? Have you talked to anyone who's dealt with the same thing you have?
I've had some clients who have experienced, similar things, and I have been in contact with, other people out there that have had similar attacks happen to them. Um, One of the clients that I had is actually an episode of a haunting. um, I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. House from Hell. Oh my goodness, it's a haunting episode. It was like season 13, I think, like episode 2, if I remember right. Um, Hers was a little more sexual. It would touch her. It would, kind of push her around, make her feel paralyzed. There were quite a few incidents where she literally thought it was her husband getting back into bed with her. Like, he got up a lot earlier than her to go to work, and, he would come and get back in the bed, and she would kind of, "Oh, shouldn't he be getting ready for work right now? Why'd he come back to bed?" And then it would, start touching her and things like that. One of the, EVPs from that particular case, they did play it, but they kinda had to beep out the swear.
Hmm.
Um, I told the entity, and I was laying on her bed like she would. I said, "This woman does not like you touching her." And it immediately answered, "Too bad for her, Luann." And when I took
Oh
that
wow.
EVP and I reversed it, and I hope I can swear,
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
because it said, when I reversed that EVP, "Too bad for her, Luann," it said, "Luann, let's fuck." And it was
Oh my
almost like
goodness.
sing-songy. And if you think about it, if you take my name even and reverse it, you're gonna get, like, Naul. How did it ever, "Luann, let's fuck,"
Yeah.
Right.
out of, "Too bad for her, Luann."
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't work like logically, but
No.
in the paranormal, logic doesn't really make a difference.
Yep, that's something I found out, probably within the first few years of becoming having a team and going out there and seeing these things happen and working with EVP and things like that. And, you were talking about hearing, audible, disembodied voices
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
actually recording them too. And, that's something that I've also experienced out there. And one of, I think, the funniest ones that ever happened was at the Houghton Mansion in Massachusetts. I'm not sure if they actually are still doing it. They used to, they were a Freemason lodge back
Okay.
in the day.
Okay.
But this mansion was enormous. And I guess Freemasonry isn't as popular as it used to be years ago. So, the Masons were having a hard time upkeeping the house. But they did used to, let teams rent it out for the night, and you pretty much had the run of the place. And it's a massive place. It was hard to get to every room that night, but, we actually excuse me, some of us, there were, geez, I think 4 of us that night, and 2 of my girls got really tired in the middle of the night, decided they were gonna try to sleep. So, myself and one of my investigators, who was a man, we went upstairs, to the 3rd floor, and there was actually, some work going on up there. They were painting and plastering, things like that. You could tell they were doing some carpentry work up there. And we sat on a couple of buckets, and we realized that the hallway echoed. And the investigator that was with me, his name was Mark, he said, "Oh, this hallway echoes." And we had, definite contact with a child spirit, who we think was a little girl. So, he was kind of trying to play with her. "Can you do that? Can you say echo?" And he kind of did it a few times. "Can you say echo?" And all of a sudden, this man's deep voice comes out of nowhere, "Echo." And we were like, it surprised us so much. I thought he was gonna jump out the window or something at
Oh
the
my
time,
gosh.
just from the surprise of it. It answered so definitely, but, those kind of experiences, I think, are really valuable to us in the paranormal field because people argue about the whole electronic voice phenomenon thing.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
say you could be picking up radio waves, you could be picking up, a car that went by. They
I've
have a
been reaching
million
for straws
excuses
there.
for it. You know,
It's like, you know, some of
Yep.
the question the reasons they come up with are so like out of realm of possibility that they just don't want to admit that's what you caught. I mean,
Well, that's the thing, a lot of these devices that they say could be interfering with that EVP, a lot of them, if you actually look on the device, it says this device follows the FCC rules or whatever and does not interfere with other electronics.
yeah.
So a lot of these electronics that they're trying to blame for EVP are pretty much non-existent. And I mean, I've been out in the middle of the Freetown State Forest, which is huge. It's trying to remember if it's like 1,000 acres. Um, I can't remember. Forest is huge, and that's probably ringing some bells for you if you've ever heard about the cult
Mm-hmm.
murders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that happened, geez, not too far up the road from me, as a matter of fact, where I live. You consider that a valuable resource for paranormal investigation. When you are out in the middle of the Freetown State Forest, there are no roads, other than dirt roads that you basically need a 4x4 to get out to. There's no highway close by unless you get to the edge of the forest and you're close to Route 24. Um, so you're out there and it's the whippoorwills and the tree frogs and the mosquitoes buzzing around and biting you and stuff like that. But, there's not really a lot of electronics out there. There's no houses. It's just woods. And I mean, some of the EVP that I've gotten just out there is amazing. Some of it does have to do with the cult murders. I've gotten some of the names of the victims, like Doreen. Um, oh, geez, I should have looked that up before. But she were horrifically murdered out there. Um, you get
Is there a show
swearing.
about that?
You get what was that?
Is there a show about the cult murders?
They did do a couple of shows on the cult murders. One of them I think was called Fall River, and they blamed all of that on what they called satanic panic
Oh
because there
yeah,
was,
yeah.
during the 70s there were a lot of people, kind of stylizing themselves as Satanists, and most of them were not. Like even this particular cult, um, they called themselves a cult. They did satanic rituals. They stole a skull out of a mausoleum to drink blood out of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but they were more self-stylized. They were a couple of pimps
Posers.
and some prostitutes. There was, drug use. So, you know, you can't, I mean, they were a cult within themselves and they were doing these things, but, they weren't officially Satanists.
Like a cult name,
Just
like a
because they
cult
were
in name only.
worshiping him and, drinking blood and things like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because there is actually a Church of Satan.
Right.
They weren't affiliated. They decided that they worship Satan and they did terrible things out there. And the three women that they murdered, especially Karen Marston, she was going to turn state witness. She had already spoken to police, and the rest of these cult members found out, and her murder was by far the worst, because of the whole thinking out, ratting out on them, however you want to say, state witness. Um, they never found any of her body. The only evidence that they have of her death were skull fragments that one of the murderers was actually carrying around in his pocket.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah, but they definitely raped her. They beat her. They tore her head from her body and then raped the stump of her neck. Like, think about that. That is if they weren't Satanists, I don't know what they were. That was a cult,
Right.
they got off on this stuff of beating others and killing others and doing horrible things had killed them. That's, pretty sick stuff. So, out in the Freetown
Desecration.
State Forest, there are some very, very strong, dark spirits. I don't know if maybe they called up some entities. And I did see a question come across about have I learned to protect myself? And um, I have, because I endured a 22-year, attack by a negative entity. And it got to the point where it was attacking my 2 children and scaring the hell out of them and still attacking me. Um, it had, done a lot of things to one of my boyfriends, and, there was one night where he was staying over and, the beds shook a little bit and it woke him up, and I was still asleep, and he was kind of, laying down with, like, his hands behind his head and his elbows kinda up in the air, and whatever it was, he said it jumped up on the bed, and it was trying to make him hit me in the face with his elbow, and he had to fight and fight and fight, and the only way he got away from it was by rolling out of bed and falling onto the floor, and that's when it woke me up. But he didn't tell me right away. It was, that wasn't the first time one of my boyfriends had been attacked, and both times it took them a long time before they actually told me what had happened. So I had to get rid of this thing on my own. I think all of us have a lot of power that we don't really I made it go away, and I do take protection very seriously. If we're going to go out to the Freetown State Forest, which, like I say, I do consider that um, a very good place to research these things, because dragging these things out into the light and proving their existence and exposing them is better for everyone,
Yeah.
so we all of us at Whaling City Ghosts, we take our protection um, very seriously. We bless ourselves before we go out. Sometimes we'll even carry crystals and things, which is really funny because we knew we were going to the Lizzie Borden house. Um, so we were trying something new. We took a pendulum and we asked the pendulum to help us find the perfect crystals to bring with us before the investigation. And we did that. And during our investigation, one of the EVPs, it was like a really scratchy voice that really kind of sounded negative. And it said, "She has rocks,
Oh,
rocks like knives." And I'll never forget that because they felt those crystals. They were rocks like knives. So,
Wow.
the power of those crystals was what stabbing the negative ones that were in there. Because I have to say, Lizzie Borden, we'd have to do a whole show
I
just
think
to talk about
I was
I
gonna
was
Lizzie
say
say we
about
need a
that.
part
you
two. We
Yeah.
know,
haven't even touched on Lizzie yet.
Yeah.
yeah,
What's
but, I
we
did
need
do the
to
show, The Curse of LIzzie Borden, um, and it just we the production company kind of had, an idea in mind because they've heard the EVPs that I've gotten from there, and,
mhm.
um, the investigation just kinda took its own turn. Things were happening. We had Sam Baltrusis and Chris Fleming and David Schrader, but Chris and Sam are both very sensitive, kind of psychic. I don't know what they like their title to be. Chris also works with a lot of EVP like I do. Um, and things just started happening and they just started feeling things, and you know um the whole seance thing. During they didn't really get to show the whole seance, but the weirdest part of that for me was it happened, and they wanted me to try some automatic writing, and I do
Hey,
tend to stay away
I
from
think Luann,
seances. What was that?
Luann, I think we should really dedicate a whole show to this.
Yeah.
The investigation, all that stuff, put it into one show. That
Oh,
way
definitely.
we won't be cutting off. We will just start from the beginning, and then we'll dedicate a whole show from there. I'll have you on exactly at 9 o'clock, and we'll just go
Yeah.
for an hour
This is
straight.
good
Because
though.
my
It gave our viewers a good chance to get to know you because we've got some new people that maybe didn't know you from the other shows. So
exactly.
this is so they're all up to speed on who Luann is, and now we can talk about the Curse of Lizzie Borden next.
Yes, we've got the introduction out of the way, and I will schedule you to come on probably in May, and we'll do the whole whole shebang for Lizzie Borden, because I wanted to make
Okay.
sure that we give you the whole, make sure we really don't leave out any details.
No, no,
And
no.
Oh, yeah, I could the whole Lizzie Bo I mean, I grew up hearing, got the axe, 40 wax,
hmm
41, all that good stuff. I
yeah,
mean, I heard that as a little girl, and the funny thing is like, I've never believed she was guilty, so I do want people to at least understand that part,
yeah.
but,
Well,
without giving too much away with the whole thing, the most shocking thing to me was, seeing myself on TV pick up the pen and start writing with it, because I had my eyes closed, and I swear to you, I felt Sam take my hand and put the pen in it. And see, that was like one thing when I watched the show afterwards, I was like, that's not what happened. He picked up my hand, and Sam swears he didn't do it. He says that I picked up the pen, and it still kind of blows my mind to this day that, I had my eyes closed, but my hand knew exactly where to go to pick up the pen. I mean, that thing that was inside of me for a little while was not a friendly. Let's just say that, and,
uh,
leave it at that so we have a little suspense for the
we'll give our viewers a homework assignment between now and when we come back in May or June. Where can people watch The Curse of Lizzie Borden?
I believe you can see it on Amazon. I'm not sure if they're charging for it. I know, what do you call it? Discovery Plus. You can get a free week, I think it is, and then it's like $4.99 a month. But oh my God, Discovery Plus like most of the content on Discovery Plus is paranormal content. You can see
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
every ghost adventure, every ghost hunters. Geez, there's so many shows out there nowadays, but I mean, most of it is paranormal content. So if that's something that like the listeners really enjoy, then I mean, the $4.99 a month
It's not.
is
It's worth it
worth being able to see all of these shows.
for sure. That's yeah, it's true because I got Discovery Plus and it's got everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could
All the
probably
shows.
spend a lifetime watching all the shows they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely worth the price. Well, Luann, I want to thank you so much for coming on and joining us tonight on
Yeah,
the show. It's so
anytime.
good
Love you
to love you too. Um,
guys.
we will see you in about a month or so.
Sounds good to me. I'll get all my research out to really give you the scoop on Lizzie.
All right, perfect. And we'll watch the Curse of Lizzie Borden. So
Yep.
hopefully, our audience will have some really good questions for you. We'll have some good questions for you, and looking forward to it.
Me too.
All right, you
I'll
have a good
talk
night.
Lizzie any day.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, have a good one.
You too. Take care, guys.
All
Thank
right, good
you.
night. Bye.
Night.
That was fun, but I
What a
really
cool
did not
story she
want
has.
to.
It's cool to get to know her backstory before we dive into Lizzie
Yeah,
Borden.
I was thinking when it got to like 9:45, I was like, nope, we can't do Lizzie Borden tonight. We can't
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
15 minutes on Lizzie Borden.
And I
Although
get to
I do
see
feel
Sam Baltrusis in May as well. So I don't know if
is
our show
is
will be
is that
before or after I see him, but I can ask
is
him
that Sage
some questions.
Paracon?
No, he's actually going to be at Belgrove offering a like weekend of just all kinds of paranormal stuff. So I'll be there with him then.
We
Yeah.
should tell Luann to come out to the cabin. Come to cabin
Oh
con.
yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
fun. So that's a we got to be somewhat quiet when I'm talking because it's hotel and I bother people.
Right.
Plus, we're in hibernation hours here at Great Wolf Lodge because a lot of kids here, so I can't be super loud walking through the halls. But my car was getting cold, so I was like, I'm gonna go inside. So I'm in the hallway, like
Yeah, because it's
between the
like
exit.
30 some degrees.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
and I couldn't cut my car on because I would have had to figure how to get the microphone to work on through the car and stuff. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this Thursday we have River City Haunted RVA. We're talking Richmond, Virginia ghosts on
Awesome.
TikTok live. I don't know who we have next week on the show.
We'll let you know Thursday when you come see us on
Yes,
TikTok.
yes. So
Until
that's a
then,
teaser
more
right there. Now you
suspense.
have to come. You have to come join us
More
on Thursday to
suspense.
figure out who we're having on Tuesday. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This was a different experience, but I think it worked out
It worked fine. It
pretty
worked out
good. At
great.
least now I know I can do it. So when I go on the beach and stuff, I can still come on and do the
Yeah,
show.
that's true. I was thinking the same thing when I'm out of town. If I'm not,
Yeah,
depending on where I'm at, I could do it from outside. So that'd be cool.
if you're not like super busy, but
Yeah.
obviously, if you're out of town, you still a
Yeah.
good
When it's
excuse
out of
not
town
to
for
do the
work, it's a
show.
little bit different,
Yeah,
but
yeah. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be back here on Thursday night on TikTok Live. Same freaking awesome time.
same freaking awesome show.
Good night,
Good
guys.
night.